Welcome to Behind the Sport, BTS, the show where we go way beyond the box score. This isn't your average sports recap. We're talking real stories, raw moments, and the stuff nobody else is really covering. From exclusive interviews to behind the scenes vibes, this is where the sports gets personal. I'm your host, Giovanna Scroggins, coming to you live on the Sports Byline broadcast network presented by Innovative Wellness Center. I have 2 words to start off the show today. Tush push. That is a pretty popular thing in the NFL right now. And a bunch of the teams, people got together and met to kind of see if we're still going to see the tush push in the league. And it was not unanimous. They needed all 24 votes in order to pass. I believe the original team that brought this proposal, the ban, the tush push, was the Green Bay Packers. And it's really interesting. Obviously, notably, the Philadelphia Eagles are really good at it. The other team that's really good at it is the Buffalo Bills. They were, not only did they run that play most often, but they're also the most successful when they run that play. So that's really interesting. The 10 teams that decided to vote against the proposal in order to not make the proposal go through was the Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, and the Tennessee Titans. There has to be some sort of pattern in between those teams in which they really want this tush push to still be a thing. I personally kind of really don't care. I mean, obviously, it's kind of a cheat code of a play. At the end of the day, just defend it. I mean, I guess you kind of can't if you're really good at it, but I don't know. I feel like if you don't want it anymore, you got to figure out a way to stop them and not get that quarterback in there. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, it's still going to be a thing in the league. Stay tuned. We've got even more BTS coming to you. Our next guest right after the break. This is BTS live on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC, used with permission.
Are you truly committed to feeling better? I mean, absolutely feeling your best? What's the key? Eat well, sleep well, lots of hydration through water, and also your daily innovative wellness athletic supplement packs. These packets are created to supplement your daily lifestyle, allowing your body to have the nutrients it needs to run efficiently. These packets include multi-omega fish oil, D3K2 5000, probiotic, and magnesium. It's nearly impossible to get all the nutrients our body requires to run efficiently on a regular basis from our food alone. Taking this daily packet will leave you feeling more energetic and more vibrant. Your brain body will be able to detoxify more efficiently, which naturally reduces inflammation. Find out today. InnovativeWellness.Center. InnovativeWellness.Center. And use the code SPORTS Overnight America.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. Celebrate responsibly.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Welcome back to Behind the Sports Show, BTS live on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Now joined by the one, the only Niko Bifsas. Niko, how are you?
Giovanna, I'm doing amazing, and I gotta say it's pretty exciting. In my world, in the soccer world, we're kind of closing down on all the finals and all European competitions, but to watch some NBA action has been absolutely spectacular, especially for somebody that loves underdogs. I feel like this has been the season. Am I wrong?
No, you're definitely not wrong. You hit the nail on the head right there when you said the word underdogs. I mean, we were just talking about this. I don't think none of us would have expected, and I think we actually talked about it in a previous show. Just alone, the Pacers, like we were like, they're not going to get nowhere near where they are now. But we look up, and now they're playing in the Eastern Conference Finals, and everyone's a little bit shocked. But I want to hit on something because we've also talked about this in previous shows. Where Giannis needs to go.
Yeah.
And where Jokic needs to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said it in the show previously that I believe that Giannis, especially when they went down 2-0, everybody kind of saw the longer picture there and saw that the Pacers were going to get through them. And for Giannis at this age, I said that he was very mature and he has all the experience in the world to try to make a push for at least another 2-3 years playing top basketball. I am listening to the reports and everybody's saying that he wants to stay in the East. I feel like Boston has a lot to trade for him. I feel like this is a winning franchise, and especially with Tatum being out, they're going to look for somebody big to come in and get the fans hyped up about the new season. I would also not dismiss some reports that are coming out saying that Dallas could be for him, but listening to him say that he wants to stay in the East, I feel like New York or Boston Celtics could be the move for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the whole Dallas rumors, and I think I would have put stock into that before, obviously we got the lottery, literally hit the jackpot, and are probably going to get Cooper flagged this season. Before that, I would have said there might have been a chance. But I like Giannis on the Celtics. You made a great point about the Celtics having a lot to trade for. So I think that's probably the most realistic, if you will, because obviously the Bucks trading away Giannis, that's pretty much their whole team, and I'm not really sure how much stock we're gonna put in Lillard over there. So
not too much.
Yeah, they need some offensive weapons if they're definitely going to get rid of that. But I want to shift gears and talk about Nikola because we mentioned that he needs to leave now. And it's actually interesting the fact that if my listeners out there, you don't know, SGA won, officially has won MVP. And then the top three was Giannis, Nikola, and SGA. But
yeah,
if Jokic leaves Denver, what is a realistic expectation, a realistic team for him to go on?
A team that does not have a lot to offer, and it would be like a big trade move. But I would like to see Nikola and Giannis go to franchises that have potential of winning. I do have it in the back of my mind that LeBron might be retiring next season. I know it hasn't been announced, and I know it's not even, close to fruition yet. But Lakers, I mean, that would be just spectacular, Giovanna. Can you imagine a team with LeBron, Jokic, and an in shape, hungry to prove everybody wrong Luka? I
I
mean,
will say
that's
putting those Europeans together might be a dangerous situation, though. There's going to be a lot of temper tantrums going on.
yeah. Listen, the tantrums are fine for whoever doesn't know. Nikola and Luca are buddies. They're really good friends. I'm not in any way, shape, or form afraid of them not working out. The problem is how do you get Jokic to go there? Listen, Anthony Davis left the team. The Lakers obviously need a big man, and the Lakers are a franchise that is always going to put out those names because they're a big city and they will always want to be in the conversation of winning trophies. You have LeBron that is 40 years old, but is still playing great basketball and he can still contribute in a big way. And I believe Giannis goes to the Celtics, Jokic goes to the Lakers, and we get a movie, a documentary on Netflix type season with giants going against each other because I feel like the league needs the hype. We have Knicks facing the Pacers. I mean, we're all going to watch it, but is anybody super excited and going crazy? No. And then on the other hand, you have OKC facing Minnesota. I mean, this is a good matchup, but it's not what the NBA has gotten us used to. All the big guys are out. Steph is out. LeBron is out. Tatum is out. We have Jalen Brunson going against Hallie, which is cool. But I feel like next season we're in for something sweet.
Yeah, you actually kind of sparked a little thought of mine come up. I mean, obviously the Celtics and the Lakers are these two franchises that have been notably super strong over decades. Um, is there any room for anybody else to establish themselves at as like in that kind of status as a franchise like the Celtics and the Lakers right now, and then maybe in the future we see them reach that hype? Or is it just gonna be because of the history, it's just already set in stone, like those two teams are always gonna be the pinnacle?
That's a great question. I believe that all depends on the players, right? Because like those franchises, the biggest weapon that they hold is their history and the strength that they bring inside the league, whether it's their fan base, whether it's like the trophies that they have and the banners hanging off the ceiling. So it always attracts players. Look how long it took Dame to leave Portland and go to Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee was probably begging him for like 2 or 3 years, but who the hell wants to live in Milwaukee, right? So it's like Boston and Lakers, they have these great big cities that are big basketball fans in there, and they're going to attract some people. Listen, can the New York Knicks overcome the Pacers? Yes. Am I confident that they can win the chip? No. But that is a city that I believe that if they were to win one this year, they could make something amazing happen in the next one. And why not bring another guy in there and start creating a dynasty? I would not be surprised if that happened.
Okay, let's shift to the West real quick. Obviously, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves going against each other. Also, great marketing, ESPN. They posted a picture of SGA with a can of Raid, and he was spraying. That was actually just fantastic.
Cool.
But let me get your thoughts on that series alone.
I will say on that series, it seems like OKC has been great in the regular season, and obviously we see them now ramping up in the playoffs. They had a tough series against the Nuggets, which I predicted. I thought it was crazy that everybody was writing the Nuggets off. Game 7, OKC takes it. Big season for them. They're supposed to win it. None of the teams that are left in the West seem to be a big threat on them. I know Anthony Edwards is a superstar, and he's definitely going to be hungry to win. Do they have the grit? Do they have the team mentality to overcome the OKC team? I don't think so. I believe it's going to be close. I think that Minnesota Timberwolves in the next game, I know Anthony Edwards kind of scrubbed off the injury that he had, and he said he's definitely going to play in the series again. And so it's all on him. Is he going to show up, and is he going to put up a big battle? Because this OKC team is truly special to me.
I 100% agree with that. But here's my hot take. I think this series, obviously I agree with you on it being close. I think this series is going to really tell us what we can expect out of the West in the next 3-5 years. What
I
kind of
agree.
teams? What is Anthony? Because I mean, Ant has a team around him right now, and this is a hard series because I really like both teams.
Yeah.
But I picked OKC to win it all. So I'm gonna have to root for OKC. Obviously, SGA just won MVP, so I think he has a little bit more umph behind his step. But are
Absolutely.
you sticking really quickly now that we have it weeded down? Who do you have winning it all?
I think OKC is going to win it all, unless Minnesota or New York Knicks create some magic. And by magic, I mean their superstars stepping up and putting up big numbers.
Well, there you go. You heard it here, folks. Niko and I both believe in OKC. Well, thank you, Niko, for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, stay tuned. Up next, we talk to a sports agent on BTS, presented by Innovative Wellness Center.
Everyone watches more than 5 hours of television. Really? And that's not counting mobile viewing. Get Dish TV and make that time worth it. With Dish, you can get hundreds of channels, access to all kinds of sports, tons of movies, premium channels, and more. Another thing that's really cool with Dish is you can watch most of your favorite shows on your mobile device anywhere for a lot less than cable. Yes, that's right. We are asking you to watch more TV and not less TV, but make it better television with Dish this time, anytime, anywhere. So call right now and learn how easy it is to save on your television bill and get the most out of your TV viewing experience. Dial that number and I promise you we're here waiting for your call because we want to save you money and give you better television. We are Dish TV.
800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328.
This is a true, sad story for ADT, the leader in home security systems. My favorite dog, Oliver, was stolen from our garage recently. If I had a camera system installed in my home from ADT, I would have known exactly what car possibly pulled up in my driveway and stole my little friend. If I had a security system from ADT, my dog would still be here. I called ADT this weekend, and they're coming out in a few days to install a camera and a new security system. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for me. Listen, protect everyone you love in your family. Call ADT now. Have them come out and give you a quote to install a full security system in your home. Don't let it be too late for you. Call right now.
Paid for by the Home Security Hotline. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. That's 800-361-3491.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer, and we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case, and they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
Welcome back to BTS Behind the Sports Show on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, presented by Innovative Wellness Center. We're going to have a conversation, hopefully, with the inner workings of how now not only at the professional level, but even at the collegiate level, sports agents. it's one of those topics that I feel like, obviously, as an athlete, once you get to a certain level, you need to be on, you need to be able to kind of have someone in your corner that will constantly be advocating on your behalf and negotiating those contracts, and things of that nature. It's really interesting to me, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, how you have so many young kids that do not understand the financial literacy and have no education, on finances when it comes to all the money they're making, not only in NIL, but the vast amount of contracts that they get, in their first year in the league if they do go first round. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see and get to and to hear from a person that has perspective, in that realm and in that world and when it comes to sports. So I think we're going to have him on shortly. Right before we get him on, though, I want to kind of dive into more sports action. Obviously, I have to talk about it because the Dallas Stars are doing great right now. They played game 1 in Dallas. They officially have home court advantage. So if they go on for the Stanley Cup Finals, they will have home court advantage as well in that series. So really rooting for the Stars. I think when you look at hockey, it's kind of one of these sports. It happens so fast. And I didn't grow up a hockey fan in no way, shape, or form. I was a basketball and a football fan, true and true. But hockey is cool. Not only do you have a little bit of fun drinking at the games and all that kind of stuff, but it's a really cool sport to watch. So really excited for the Dallas Stars, and interested to see if this rematch is going to go all the way to Game 7. I'm hoping the Stars take care of business, but the Stars have had some struggles, if you will, when it comes to offense, putting up numbers. And we like to play behind a little bit. So hopefully we can start out hot and get things going, in that series against the Oilers. So I'm excited to see that. Other than that, Dallas sports has been nothing short of exciting. I mean, obviously, I cannot wait for basketball, even though we're in the final of basketball right now. Basketball next season in Dallas is going to be electric. And you have, WNBA is going on. Paige Becker, she now plays on the Dallas Wings. Hoping Niko and hoping we as Dallas Mavericks fans don't do anything to screw up Cooper Flag coming to Dallas and wearing blue and white. That's going to be an interesting thing in itself. Perfect. So I think it's just going to be an awesome thing. But enough about Dallas sports. Let's get one of the probably most successful sports agents in here, Mr. Scott Casterline. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm good, Giovanna. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I want to quickly dive into our conversation because I know there's a lot to talk about when it comes to you and your career. But let's start from the very beginning. How'd you get into the sports industry? How'd you get into being a sports agent?
Well, it's an interesting story. I went to Baylor. I played football and baseball there. And one of my roommates got drafted by the Raiders while we were still in school, his senior year or senior year. And so I was screening calls from sports agents. There were maybe 5 in the country at that time. We didn't even know what a sports agent was. But I'd screen calls from my roommate. And one of the groups finally figured out I played 2 sports in the Southwest Conference and put 2 and 2 together. My roommate signed with them. They were in Dallas, and they offered me a job. Before they could finish the sentence, I said yes. And I told my father, who was a litigator here in Dallas at a big firm, and I said, Dad, I took a job as a sports agent. And he goes, a sports what? I said, you're going to law school. I said, no, I think I want to try this out. This is 1983. And I've been doing it ever since.
From 1983 to 2025, obviously, I'm sure you have a lot to say in terms of how the industry has changed. I talked a little bit about just the landscape of how much athletes get paid, especially at the collegiate level before you came on. Speak on that a little bit, just in your personal bubble and your view and your perspective. How do you think the industry has changed?
Money's changed the industry a lot. When I first got into business, the average salary in the NFL was $80,000. Now it's probably pushing 2.5 million average salary, at least that. And we keep breaking records every year on our salary cap allocations. So I think the last 2 years our salary cap's gone up $50 million over 2 years. That's some money that's allocated to pay the players, which is based on a percentage split of revenue. So revenue's just gone through the roof. NIL has changed the landscape for college players. Back when I played, we didn't get anything, and other than a chance to go to school, which was big. Now you've got players, you've got quarterbacks making $4 to $6 million a year in college to play quarterback. We had a client last year who went to the transfer portal. He got $1.5 million as an offensive tackle for 1 year to go to school. So it's really changed. It's going to keep, it's a changing landscape out there. We're learning to navigate it. So now we're serving as a transfer portal agent. We're helping players negotiate their deals with colleges when they transfer, which is a big deal. And they need help because it's like, negotiating against an NFL team if you're a player. It's very difficult to do when you're negotiating for yourself. We have the advantage because we know the market, we know who's paying what position's worth X value, and and who needs which players, what positions. So it's a new field for us, but it's right down my alley. It's like negotiating NFL free agency contract. That's the way I look at it.
Not saying that NIL is completely a bad thing. From my perspective, as an avid sports fan and somebody that loves watching sports and somebody that really cares about the athletes, often I struggle with the idea of these players getting paid and the amounts that they're getting paid and having it readily available to them. Sometimes it's like, what if, you might not be able to access that money right now, but when you get to the professional league, you can access it, or after you finish college, you can access it when you have a little bit more financial literacy behind you. Other solutions involved. I do think they should be getting paid something because at the end of the day, you're risking your life on that field every day, depending on how hard you play. But for me, it's one of those things that it needs to be a little bit more regulated. And I know we're in the kind of beginning phases of this new NIL era, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you appreciate what NIL has been offering players, or do you think it needs to be regulated a little bit?
Well, I do appreciate the fact they're paying players because it's revenue share. And these schools have profited a lot of money from college athletics. And, from the lawsuit 2 or 3 years ago, they basically said it's an antitrust violation. The players need to be paid, and now they're getting paid. Now, that the rev share model is going to change, I believe, in July, where it'll designate how much money each school has to spend on which sport. And the last I heard was football was going to get $15 million, and the other sports would split the $5 million. But that may have gone up since that time. So I'm getting geared up for that because I need to know that by December, on the next portal date. Yeah, it's definitely changed the landscape. The players deserve it. Believe me, I feel the injuries I had from college to even today. So we're putting our bodies through a lot, and we're generating a lot of income, and I think the players should share in that.
When a college athlete comes to you and or gets presented to you, and you are in the process of going to begin representing them, what does that look like? And then how long do you hold on to that player? Is it throughout their entire career, or is it up until a certain point?
Typically it's an entire career. I've been looking at 2026 draft prospects lately. So what I look for is people from our area. I look at the Texas Tech, Texas A&M, SMU, Baylor, look at those schools, Oklahoma, and try to find common denominators, like where do they go to high school? Do they know any of my current players? Is there a relationship with the parents and me through a third party? So I'm looking for common denominators And then I'll look at draft grades, and right now only grades on 2026 prospects are media orchestrated. In June, that will change when the NFL kind of steps in and puts grades on guys. But I'm looking at guys that are draftable or guys that can play in the league. And I think I have a pretty good eye for that. So I've been well trained in what to look for. It's the way I played was very fundamental. So I'm looking for guys that fit our model, that have the discipline and character and integrity and talent to play at a high level, because it takes all of it. There's a lot of talented players that wash out, but if you have the basis of how you're raised and your character, et cetera, you'll increase your odds of making it
right.
tough league.
Right. We'll hold that thought. More with the sports agent, Scott Casterline, after this break. This is BTS. Scott, stay right there.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe? No-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m.? Big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas? The ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk. Real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
1 out of 2 Americans thinks their life is worthy of a book. Here's another startling stat. You may be one of the 15% of people who bothered to start your book and one of the 6% that got halfway through it, but your gem of an idea likely died. Or did it? Some published authors are making significant money, so join the ranks of the successful people that finished their books with help from Dorrance Publishing. Call right now and our experienced editors and writers will explain to you what it's going to take to get your book completely written, published, and then taken to market to sell it. It's a free consultation, so call right now. Find out how much time and money it takes to finally get that book idea of yours published. Make your dreams happen. Call Dorrance Publishing right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
Are you truly committed to feeling better? I mean, absolutely feeling your best? What's the key? Eat well, sleep well, lots of hydration through water, and also your daily innovative wellness athletic supplement packs. These packets are created to supplement your daily lifestyle, allowing your body to have the nutrients it needs to run efficiently. These packets include multi-omega fish oil, D3K2 5000, probiotic, and magnesium. It's nearly impossible to get all the nutrients our body requires to run efficiently on a regular basis from our food alone. Taking this daily packet will leave you feeling more energetic and more vibrant. Your brain body will be able to detoxify more efficiently, which naturally reduces inflammation. Find out today. InnovativeWellness.center. InnovativeWellness.center. And use the code SPORTS Overnight America.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Welcome back to Behind the Sport BTS on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, presented by Innovative Wellness Center. Diving right back into our conversation with Scott Casterline. We're going to talk a lot of inside scoop when it comes to the industry and sports agent. Scott, you told me a little off air this morning, you've had a player in the NFL for the last 42 years. How does one even do that?
I didn't realize that fact until after this draft, this latest draft. I've had a player in the NFL 42 straight years, and I know of only one other agent that may be able to say that. And I'm real proud of it. So I've stayed relevant. I've got a great client list, and I'm blessed.
If you can talk about your clients a little bit, what's one client in your roster that is probably one of the most inspirational when it comes to their story, and then obviously the things that they've achieved in their career?
I can go on and on. Michael Brockers with the Rams, who just retired a year ago, played 11 years, was the highest paid in his position 2 years in a row, which means I did my job because he was the best nose tackle in football when he played nose and he moved outside the defensive end. Lincoln Kennedy was another first-round pick I had. Michael Brockers was first round. Lincoln Kennedy was first-round pick and played 11 years. I did 8 contracts for him, which was remarkable. I've always believed in going short on our contracts so we can have an opportunity to move with the market. I worked with Randy White, who's another Hall of Famer, Albert Lewis, currently Tarkanic West, who just retired 2 years ago, was a star running back with the Chiefs. Had John Randall, who went undrafted in a 12-round draft and made the Hall of Fame. Kyle Fuller from Baylor played 6 years in the league, now is coaching at the Raiders. Albert Lewis played 18 years. He was my first client. 18 years in the league as a cornerback safety. Finished up with the Raiders. He became the highest paid at 33 years old. So I'm proud of this because it means I'm doing my job. I've had the highest paid player on 4 different occasions. And, it's hard to do. And then Lincoln Kennedy was the highest paid 4 years in a row, which is really hard to do. I'll give the example of Dak Prescott. Dak's been the highest paid the last 2 years, and everybody below him has kind of redid their contract, and they're below that. So he'll go into a third year in a row as being the highest paid quarterback. I don't expect that to last. I think we'll have quarterbacks in the $70 to $80 million a year mark in the next 2 to 3 years. Brock Purdy just did an extension with the 49ers, and statistically, Brock should have been top 5 quarterback, in my opinion. He did a 5-year extension with 1 year left on his contract at $53 million a year, which to me was too long to do. It really puts himself in a position for his third series of contracts when he's over 30. And for other positions, that's usually not advantageous. So always try to get a guy to his third contract by the time he's turning 29 or 30. But I've got Taylor Gabriel, who's a great player from Abilene Christian, Tarkanic West from Abilene Christian this year. Matt Jones from Baylor, who was really one of my favorites already. Just old school football. Yeah, he'll be very successful. He was at Baylor.
In your opinion, what is the most underpaid position and what's the most overpaid position currently right now in the league?
Well, receivers have really jumped up there. And, I've had receivers, but some are at $40 million a year. For a guy who maybe catches the ball 5 or 6 times, that's a lot of money. But our market keeps increasing. Running backs are way underpaid, in my opinion. They've been devalued. It's interesting. Philadelphia started running the ball, and now we're seeing them move back to running the ball, and they were successful. Offensive tackles are making a lot of money. Guards have increased. Everything's increased. Cornerbacks are high paid. Quarterbacks are high paid. So it's been a wide spectrum. The money's been spread pretty much even, not even per position, but the increases are there for all positions.
With the not only increase in monetary value, but there's a lot of other factors surrounding when an athlete goes into negotiations. Is this something that the athlete could do themselves? And do you ever foresee the role of a sports agent not being relevant to athletes anymore?
No, there's been some players that negotiated their own contracts recently, and I would think it's like being your own lawyer. It's not a good practice. Again, I have an advantage because I know market trends. I know value. I know everybody in the league that I'm dealing with. We've got a long history of relationships, and that's very valuable when you come to negotiating a contract. We usually don't play around, and both sides are able to come to an agreement on what the value of that player is. As an agent, I've got to stay objective and not fall in love with my player and overvalue him. I've got to know objectively what his value is in order to represent him correctly, and I've done that.
It's interesting you bring that up because I had a question surrounding that when it comes to maybe not having, trying not to have a little bit of a bias when you're selling these athletes, because you have to sell them a certain way. And if you're selling them, that means you need to believe that they're worth that amount of money. But because you believe that, then, little personal things might get in the mix. How does that work? And how do you kind of separate those two things?
Well, you said something earlier. You've got to know your player's value, not, what the perception is. You've got to know what his value is. And if he's the highest paid, it's my job to get him highest paid. If he's the top at his positions, that's my job, and I've been able to do it. If he's not a top-tier player, you have to know how to value him to keep him in the league. I had Anthony Lynn was one of my clients who played 7 years in the league as a running back, and his real value was as a special teams player, not as a running back. He had some big games at running back, but he wasn't really a full-time starter there, but he was a hell of a special teams player. So on his last contract, he was a free agent, and we moved him to the Broncos over the Raiders. Raiders actually offered more money on the short-term deal, but I went to Anthony and I said, look, your value in the league is as a special teams guy. Denver recognized that. We did a little bit longer contract than I would normally do, 4 years, but I valued him to stay on that team for 4 years. And he played all 4 years, and he got hurt last year. They paid his salary and brought him right into coaching. He went on to become a head coach in this league. He's now a running back coach. So, again, it was me explaining to Anthony, hey, this is what your value is in the league, and getting him to accept that, not overselling it, taking a bigger deal with Oakland when he'd have been lucky to play 1 year on that deal.
Right.
So I'm proud of that. I love my players, no doubt, but I've always been good at objectively stepping back and seeing what his true value is, and then explaining it to my player, getting them involved in what we're doing, and have them buy into it.
With a player like Travis Hunter, and obviously we don't know what's going to happen yet in terms of where he is going to play, but how does that change contracts? Are we going to now see other players after Travis? Because obviously he's setting somewhat of a precedent. Are we going to see other players after Travis? And in return, are we going to see other contracts fit the bill of a player, an athlete that plays two positions?
I don't think we'll see it anytime in the near future because not many players, if any that I know of, is playing two ways in college other than Derek. Now, he'll be paid as a second pick in the draft slot should be paid. So that won't be reflected. His dual value will not be reflected in this initial contract. Now, when he gets to free agency after 4 years, whenever he's eligible for free agency, that's he'll have a 4 year plus an option contract by the club. So it could be a 5 year contract. If he plays all 5 years, he becomes free. If he's playing both ways at that time and has value at both positions, that may be reflected in a higher than average cornerback salary or receiver salary. So, yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for him to do both. and more power to him if he does. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. I don't know. I think you'll eventually see him settling in at one position.
I would have to agree with that. I mean, it is a lot of wear and tear on your body. I don't even know how that's humanly possible. But, I mean, every year and every season there's somebody that just comes around and blows your mind. Diving back into more of your career, I want to end the show, end your segment on giving our listeners your insider secret. I'm sure you've seen a lot. You've talked to a lot of different kind of people, but if you could give us one insider secret, whether that's a moment, advice, or something that's a funny thing that you've experienced in your career, I would love for you to share that.
You know, I've had a number of experiences, and I never like to throw a team under the bus. So some of them I can't really talk about, but what I've been most proud of is my players' ascension to their second career after football. And I'll give you this story because I'm real proud of it. I had a player that played second-round pick from Baylor, played 8 years in the league. He moved to Green Bay for his last year, his ninth year, and they cut him. He was 31 years old. So he had his truck up there. He drives back to Dallas. His wife and him separated the day he drove in. He was a mess. So I went out and got him, brought him, maybe stay with me for a month. And Irvin, his name's Irvin Randall. Irvin had money. He'd done pretty well. He had a great career. He's like, I couldn't get him to focus on what he wanted to do after football while he's playing. But at that time, he stayed with me. Irv said, Scott, I've got money, but I need a career. And I said, Irv, you know, Irv used to run with me on McKinney Avenue in Uptown. And he'd walk in a room, and everybody loved him. He'd just command the room. Just a really gregarious personality, great guy. And one of the people that ran with us in this offseason was the general manager at the big Chevrolet dealer over by old Cowboy Stadium. Gosh, I can't remember the name. They were the number one truck dealer in the United States. And so I said, well, why don't you talk to, I think his name was Sam, why don't you talk to Sam about going to work for him? He goes, oh, no, he was too proud to do it. So the next day I went over to see Sam, and unbeknownst to Irvin, and said, hey, Irvin Randall's done with football. What do you think about Irvin working for you? He said, you think he would do it? I said, here's his phone number. Call him. We called him that day. Irvin started as a salesman that day. First month, he led the dealership, and he sold like 18 trucks. And went on to moved up in management. He moved to, he ended up owning he owns a dealership in Lawton, Oklahoma now.
Wow.
And he's doing phenomenally well. He came into town the other day and called me, said, let's go to Nick and Sam's, and went up there and just reminiscing. But what
That's
I
fantastic.
didn't realize...
Moral of the story is life after ball is really great. But thank you so much for joining us, Scott. We really appreciate your insight and everything.
Thanks, Giovanna. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Stay tuned. Wrap up the show after this. This is BTS.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-788-1495. 800-788-1495. 800-788-1495. That's 800-788-1495.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039. Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
Welcome back to Behind the Sport, BTS on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, presented by Innovative Wellness Center. I have to tell y'all about this, especially after the conversation we had. So the Tennessee Titans obviously drafted Cam Ward, number one overall pick in the draft. He goes in, represents himself in negotiations, and now he has a deal that is worth $48.7 million over 4 years, fully guaranteed. Scott actually brought up something interesting that I never really thought about. Kind of not expanding all of the years and doing something a little less, so you have more leeway and more, I guess, movement when it comes to the market moving. 4 years, not a super long time, so I'm sure that's okay. But it's interesting. He doesn't have an agent. He represented himself in this negotiation. So I think, Cam might be a little smart cookie. We might have a smart IQ quarterback on our hands when it comes to everything he does in Tennessee. That's going to do it for us today on BTS. What a ride. A huge thanks again to our guests for pulling back the curtain and sharing those stories you definitely won't find in the box score. Be sure to tune in next week for another exciting episode with even more incredible guests and insight from the world of sports. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and keep following us for all latest updates on Instagram at Behind the Sports Show and on YouTube at Behind the Sports Show as well. We'll be right back here, same time, same place on Wednesday. A big thank you to Niko and Scott for joining us today. Again, I'm Giovanna Scroggins. This has been Behind the Sport, BTS on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, presented by Innovative Wellness Center.